The Eagles are heading to the Steelers. We have another touchdown game here, Brett. A full touchdown in favor of the Steelers. 44.5 is your total, which in today's NFL is microscopic. That used to be like the normal total that we would talk about, and now we're looking at a 44.5 total and thinking how small that is. Ben Roethlisberger did come out this week and said he didn't like what went on with, how he felt like they got the short end of the stick with all this COVID thing, that they, had a bye week that was later on in the season that got taken away from them. That now earlier in the season when they were still relatively healthy, of course, these teams kind of like it more middle of the season where they have that week to get healthy after they've been banged up for several weeks. He also said he didn't like the way that it kind of cut any momentum that they had. We're talking about Ben Roethlisberger that, again, had not taken a snap in the NFL since week 2 of last season. And he was saying that they were just kind of starting to figure things out on the offensive side of the ball, and then they had to shut it all down and get going again. We saw a win from the Eagles last week, but again, against another team that's completely beaten up in the 49ers. So what do you take from all of that? And are you willing to lay a touchdown with the Steelers at home?
I am, and it's gross. This is 2 straight touchdown favorites that I like. This is just the NFL in 2020, I guess. I see this as a great spot to fade the Eagles off a win. Wentz against that depleted 49ers front 4 last week had his most efficient game of the season, despite he only threw for 193 yards, but that was the best we've seen out of Carson Wentz all year. And now he gets the best pass rush in the NFL. They've had extra time to prepare for him, and Wentz is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league when he gets pressure in his face. Like, the Steelers they blitz more than any other team in the NFL and have 2 of the better edge rushers in the league. The only way Philly stands a chance here is if they can offset that pressure with screens, quick releases, but do they have the weapons? Do they have the playmakers on the field to neutralize that? I don't think they do. So I've got the Steelers big here. I think this is a big game for James Conner. They just run all over Philly in this one. And that it sucks to say that because they still have to cover 7 points. There's a lot of points to cover, but I don't see the Eagles scoring a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking about in what seems to be like an NFL where there are very few good defenses anymore. This is actually one of them in the Steelers. This is actually one of the elite defenses that is in the league right now. And Brad, you take a look at this and, Ben Roethlisberger did talk about the negatives, but I guess if we did want to talk about the positives, it did give them an extra week to any sort of weird nagging injuries to maybe get a little bit healthier. We know they're going to be healthier than the Eagles are as they come into this. Maybe they were able to concentrate while they weren't able to be physically preparing for this the whole time. They were at least, had an extra week to kind of look into this game. And, I'm with Brett. If I'm playing this game, I think I have to play the favorite here. And it's weird, but we're just in a time right now, I think, where the haves and the have-nots, it's never been a greater gap, right? And so you look and you see and you're like, what do you mean the Steelers are a touchdown favorite over the Eagles? The Eagles won last week. You say, yeah, the Eagles won last week against another team that was literally putting out kind of their B squad. So it's weird to say that I'm like, if it's either the home touchdown favorite or nothing, but I kind of feel like it's the touchdown favorite or nothing for me.
Yeah, I'm in alignment with you two here. I mean, the Eagles, we probably say that was their best performance of the season. They were outgained 417 yards to 267, yards per play 6 to 4.5. Against the backup quarterback who was just missing wide open receivers. First play of the game, he had Juszczyk for 50 yards and just missed him. Like, no one was near him. And I mean, Mullins, that's probably the worst quarterback performance I've seen all year. And they still went for 400 yards against these Eagles. Yeah, I think the key mismatch, as Brett pointed out, is that Steelers D-line. It's first in every pressure metric, basically, first in sack rate and everything, against an Eagles offensive line that's pretty makeshift at the minute. I think it was sort of 3 or 5 new starters on Sunday night. Lane Johnson was in and out of the lineup. He's by far their best player on that line. His game time decision, he might go, he might be gimpy if he does go. So either way, Wentz is going to be under siege back there. The good, I guess, on the Eagles side, reasons for optimism. Wentz is just running around a lot more. That's possibly one for player props. If you find an over 15.5, it looks like he's going down the Ryan Fitzpatrick route of just body on the line, throw yourself, right, towards the first down line, whatever it takes, because his weapons aren't there at the minute. Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson both practicing again. it's tough to put too much faith in that because neither of them have managed to stay on the field for any length of time. So it's likely he's going to have the corpse of Zach Ertz and Greg Ward out there again. So yeah, the weakness of the Steelers' defense is in the secondary, but I just don't see that they have the weapons to take advantage of it. So yeah, I like the Steelers -7 as well.
Yeah, same here, guys, and we'll disagree on some stuff here along the way, but this just lines up too incredibly perfectly for the Steelers, and you would like to think that the more games they play, the better they're going to get on the offensive side of the ball as well. I think if there's anything that's been lacking for the Steelers is just consistency on the offensive line, and we're only through a few games, but it makes sense when you talk about a quarterback that was out as long as Ben Roethlisberger was. And Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't on the field all that much last year either with all of his injuries. And so a lot of guys kind of getting back into the swing of things here. And you would think, if anything, that the Steelers will only get better. So again, lay in the wood here with the big home favorites. And